Hey teachers, welcome! If you're looking for a really practical, step-by-step guide for teaching the Georgia ELA standard for reading cursive in grades 3 through 5, then you're in exactly the right place.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. We're going to be using the official Georgia Department of Education framework to build out a lesson that's super clear, super effective, and something you can honestly use in your classroom tomorrow. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get clear on what the standard is all about. Then I'll model a core teaching strategy for you, step by step. After that, we'll chat about practice and differentiation, and then wrap up with how to know your students have really got it. Sound good? Let's go.
First things first. Before we can even think about teaching this, we need to be absolutely crystal clear on what the standard is asking our students to know and be able to do.
The standard itself seems pretty straightforward, right? Read texts written in cursive. But, there's a little more to it. It actually builds in complexity across the grade levels. So third graders might start with just phrases and sentences, but then fourth graders move on to short texts, and by fifth grade, the goal is for them to read a whole variety of texts written in cursive.
So here's the most important takeaway. This is not just about identifying letters. The real goal, the whole point, is comprehension. Can a student read a sentence that's written in cursive and then actually show you they get what it means? That's our target.
All right, now let's talk about how this all fits into a lesson structure. And I've got some good news for you. It's a framework that I'm willing to bet is already second nature for you. We're going to frame this whole thing using the classic I do, we do, you do model. You know it, you love it. This gradual release of responsibility is just perfect for building student confidence and making sure everyone is set up for success.
Okay, let's get into the real heart of the lesson now. The explicit instruction. That's the I do part. We're going to walk through a really simple but powerful four-step routine that comes straight from the evidence document.
Now, this routine is just brilliant, and here's why. It scaffolds the learning perfectly. It starts with the absolute smallest piece, a single letter, and then builds up step by step all the way to using those skills in a complete sentence.
So you kick things off with step 1, letter recognition. You just show a single cursive letter, like this cursive R here, and you'd ask your students to connect it to the print letter they already know. And the student's response is simple and fast. That's the letter R. See, it's just a quick foundational check to make sure they have the basic building blocks down before you move on.
Okay, next up is step 2, where you level up to the word hunt. Now we're moving from a single isolated letter to finding a whole word inside a little bit of text.
And notice here, the student does something. They point or highlight. They're actively scanning the text and finding the word, which shows you they can recognize those letters when they're all connected.
Now for step 3, the phrase read. We're moving up again, from single words to reading a common phrase or a clause, like practice makes perfect. Having them read it out loud like this is so great for building their fluency and confidence. They start to feel how cursive flows together.
And finally, we get to step 4, which is extend. Now this is the big one. This is where we tie it all back to our main goal, comprehension. You give them a full sentence in cursive, but you embed another task, like asking them to underline the nouns.
And boom, right there. That action shows they've met the goal. They didn't just sound out the words, they actually understood the sentence well enough to identify the parts of speech. It's reading for meaning. That's the win.
So once you've modeled that whole 4-step routine, it's time to shift gears. We need to move into the we do and you do phases to give our students the practice they need.
Now, these strategies here are just fantastic because they're so versatile. You can use them for partner work during the we do phase and for individual tasks in the you do phase. So for example, you could have partners quiz each other on high-frequency words or give students a short poem in cursive to read on their own. But no matter what the activity is, the two keys are always the same. Lots of repeated practice and giving that immediate feedback.
All right, we've taught the lesson, they've had time to practice, so how do we know? How do we know if they've really got it? Let's talk about what success actually looks like.
This little table here is basically your cheat sheet. These look-fors give you such a clear checklist, and you'll notice they line up perfectly with that 4-step routine we just practiced. You can see exactly what mastery looks and sounds like at every single level, from the single letter all the way to the full sentence. And hey, if you want a really great, super low-stakes way to do a quick check-in, try this exit ticket idea. Before everyone packs up, just write a simple direction on the board in cursive, something like, please stack your chairs. The students who actually do it,
Well, they've just shown you they can read it and understand it. It's that simple.
So, to wrap this all up, let's just hit the big takeaways one more time. Remember to start simple and build your way up, letter to word to sentence. Use that I do, we do, you do model that you already know so well. Make sure students get lots of practice with quick feedback, and most important of all, always connected to comprehension. We're not just teaching them to decode, we're teaching them to read for meaning.
I'm going to leave you with one final thought. A really simple action you can take to put this all into motion right away. What is one high-frequency word, maybe it's the day of the week, the month, maybe even your name, that you can write on your board in cursive for your students to read first thing tomorrow morning? Thanks so much for watching.